Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice. It's a brand new week, the sun's shining bright. A chance to cast your net, step into the light. Life's full of challenges, it's a winding stream. But with Coach Rice, you'll find your dream.
And you are on with Coach Rice, where what we do is Mondays with Coach Rice, casting the net, where we dive deep into topics that matter the most to your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, your professional certified life and health coach and trained mental health counselor. Today I have a special guest, Dallas Collis. He's life extension trainer, emotional baggage handler, I like that, author and speaker, and on with us today to share some wisdom and knowledge. So Dallas, can you share where you're from and what inspired you to pursue your current career path?
Well, I'm from the west coast of Canada on Vancouver Island. And I'm pursuing this path because of my story. And we're going to talk about what our stories are. But I wonder if I could start with a common ground between us. And that common ground would be a shared agreement that all people, you, me, everyone you've known, everyone you've ever known, every human being has the same destination. That we want to find peace of mind, love, happiness, stillness, just a life without worry, stress, trouble, fear, anxiety. We work 50 years at a job to get to retirement. To do what? To relax, to enjoy life, to get to this place. So can we agree that we all are moving in the same direction?
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely. So my question is always, so what are you waiting for? Right? Like what's stopping us? What's in our way? You are a story. Martha Rice is a story and a storyteller.
Yes.
Dallas Collis is a story and a storyteller. We are born into trauma of becoming alive physically, and then things happen to us. And we don't write our early story. It is written for us by parents, by friends, by teachers, by everything that happens to us. We're told what to do, where to go, how to stand, how to behave, what to think, what to say. This begins building a story of who we identify ourselves as. Now, of course, within those early years, a thing happens, maybe more than once. We call it trauma.
Yes.
An event that tends to hurt or confuse us. And why it's a problem is because when we're under 10 years old, we have no filter of rationality and logic in our mind. We can't rationalize things. We're just a sponge. We just take it in. And so when something scares us, interrupts our security, we get this fear built in. And it happens to all of us. Now, some people get worse than others. I was physically and emotionally bullied and abused by the church, by school, by summer camp, by Cub Scout leaders. I received this over and over. In school, I was told I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm not good enough, I can't measure up, I failed over and over. The obvious, evidence was in front of me that I wasn't good enough. So I believe that becomes part of my story. And I carry that story, emotional baggage, with me for the next 50 years. And when we have stories like this, we act to live up to them, to prove that they're true. This is why we'll start to be successful and then self-sabotage, because it proves that I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So my self-sabotage, I'm doing it for a reason. It's actually a benefit to me. because it tells me who I am, even when it hurts me. This is the power of our stories that we identify as. We believe we are that story. And that story is history. It's all historical. Our only way to have knowledge is from yesterday and before, from experience, from the past. We don't gain knowledge at this moment. We gain it when we go past the moment. And then we can hold it and see it, and it becomes our knowledge. So my whole life is in the past. The pain is unbearable. And over 50 years of that pain, you reach for a medication to numb that pain. And my first, and most people's first, is blame. Blame is our first addiction, because if I blame you, I blame the school, I blame the teachers, I blame the church, I blame my parents, I blame everyone's to blame except for me. They are the reason I'm in pain. And so I use blame as a buffer to keep you away. I don't have to face my pain if you're to blame, right? I don't have to come to me. I'm protected by my blame. But of course, this blame wears off. It gets weaker and weaker, and the voice in the back of your head keeps going, yeah, you're blaming them, but you might have to face something. And so we reached for a stronger addiction. And I went to alcohol. Mm-hmm. And boom, oh, I'm reset. Everything's fine. The blame disappears right away. Works like magic. Just drink and it'll stay away. And of course, over time, you become addicted to this new medication. And it begins to lose its ability because it brings baggage of its own that becomes more painful than the baggage you're trying to get rid of.
Yes.
So for me, then I added cocaine. And zoom, supercharged my drug. And I was good again. It keep fixing me. And this is what addiction is all about, is running from that real baggage, your story, your history that you don't want to face and look at. So I go into a marriage of 25 years with a wife who's also an addict, who is also carrying that baggage, who's also in pain and anger. And you can imagine, from the outside, we have a house, we have cars, we have kids, we have vacation, we have a business together. We're successful. We're your normal middle-class successful couple. Aren't they wonderful? Under that roof is a storm. It's a war zone. It's horrible. It's violence. It's abuse on any level you can imagine. It's terrible. How can you live that way? Well, we get so pressurized by this baggage in these years, the body and mind will finally express itself. It has to release that pressure somehow. And very commonly, it's depression. Because depression is actually a defensive safety system on the body. It's suppressing and depressing all that pressure. Take it out of you by pushing it down, and you feel nothing. And this was my first indication of healing, was depression. It's a horrible experience, depression. It's this black pit of nothing. It's the most insecure, lost, empty feeling. But I now believe it's actually your whole nervous system saying to you, this is the warning. I'm warning you, you must deal with that story because it is going to eat you alive. And I'm trying to protect you right now. So I had a few bouts of that, and it was just horrific. And then I got real lucky. I woke up one morning in the middle of that pandemic with cancer. Fantastic. Over the next 12 months, I had to go through cancer and treatment, lose my wife, lose my house, lose my business, lose my family in any way imaginable, and wake up alone, broken, and alcoholic and suicidal. That's the best year of my entire life. And I will never see it otherwise, because it opened the door to that story, to understand the story, to look at what I was running from, what held me in a prison. The matrix in my own mind is that story. And one day I'm trying to recover, trying to take the initial steps of getting my life back. And in the background, a podcast is playing, and a man on the podcast is talking about consciousness. And he said one line. He said, "Show me yesterday." That was it. Blew my world apart right there. Because my brain knew exactly what he just said. I can't go to a cupboard, Martha, and pull out yesterday and show it to you. Where is it? Where is this yesterday, this history that was my life and is most people's lives? Where is it tangibly, realistically? It doesn't exist. So where does it reside? Memory.
Yes.
Where does it reside? Belief in the memory. Where does it reside? The meaning we give to the belief in the memory. Where does it reside? In the feelings that are generated from the meaning we have given to our belief in the memory. None of these things are tangible reality. They're our perception of reality. So if my entire life was almost destroyed and almost killed me because I perceived this past, this history, this non-reality as having that much power, that means I have total power. I don't have to believe in it. It was so obvious to me, this was just a story. The story mind that controls us is the ego, is the deception of believing we are a certain identity. But it has no reality. We can only be identified as something we believe we are. There's no rule, there's no law, there's no police running in saying, "You stay just who you are." Nothing is keeping us there but our belief in our story. I don't have to believe my story. What an unbelievable freedom. Everything in my imagination is from the past, regrets, worries, concerns, the pain, the trauma, or an imagination of tomorrow, what might go wrong, anxiety, fear, insecurity. They're fake. They're not real. I've invented them and put them on myself. And I've believed in them. And they control my life. They've given me every problem, every pain. So if I live today, right here, alive and conscious, I don't have a worry. I don't have an anxiety. I don't have trauma. I don't have anything because it doesn't exist. And people have a fit. Well, you're saying trauma isn't real? Of course it's real. I'll say, no, it's not. The event is real. The thing that you took as your trauma is real. It happened. But it happened 40 years ago. It's not with me today. I carry the meaning of that trauma with me. I carry the memory and my belief in that meaning. I carry it. I'm responsible for my trauma, not for the event that happened. But an event is an event. I cut my wrist badly at 10 years old. It was traumatic, a lot of blood. So I can remember the screaming, running to my parents, just freaking out. I can now look at the scar and then I can remember it happening back then. It has no effect on me now because I'm not placing the power of the emotional attachment to that wound. 70% of your life you can't remember right now. That's for every person. We don't remember most of our life. Tell me what you ate for breakfast on September 15th, 2005 on a Tuesday. Go ahead, tell me.
I can't tell you that.
You ate something, it happened, it was an event. Why don't you know it? Because you didn't record it by saying, wow, this is important. And then play it over and over. Run the movie. Keep seeing the movie until you know every line of the movie. You hear a song on the radio and you don't like it. 2 weeks later, you're humming along to it and singing the words. Why? Because you hear it over and over. It replays. You begin to take it in. That's what we do with trauma. That's what we do with all our concerns and fears from the past. We take them and we embrace them. We own them. They are ours, we think. And we replay them. We make them strong and powerful. We nurture them. We care for them. But they are the illusion of the past, of memory. We're terrible at remembering. But we grab onto a few things. There'll be some happy memories you always have. And unfortunately, for almost everyone, a bigger bag of memories they don't want to have. And come up in thoughts all the time, just magically on their own. You're not trying. I drop a mug on the floor the other day, and the voice in my head goes, "You idiot, you're such a klutz. You always screw up." I think, what's that voice? Who is that? Who are they talking to? Oh my God, it's me. It's not me, but I think it's me. It's this story that I can only believe is me. We don't have to take this story forward. There is a simplicity to this. It is living right here and now and being awake and aware, attentive, paying attention. All our habits and routines and daily behaviors that are subconsciously automatic sleepwalking. I drive home from work at the end of a tough day. I'm exhausted. I walk into the house, I slap my keys down on the kitchen counter, and the sound of the keys wake me up. And the first thing I do is go, I don't remember driving home. I don't remember a single traffic light or seeing anything. How? Whoa, it's the weirdest thing your head does this. Because we sleepwalk through so much of our life in these habits and routines that the only thing that keeps us there is that voice, those thoughts arising all the time. The routine, the behavior, the memory, the past, the story that keeps us on this same track. The story doesn't want you awake. Your ego hates you if you try and be awake. Sit still, calm, and quiet. How long does it take before, boom, the voices start coming up in your head? Thoughts, I got to do the laundry. I need to get to the bank tomorrow. The kids are going to be home soon. A million things start happening. Why? Not because any of those things are important or even real at that moment. Because your ego, your story, does not want you to be quiet. It is afraid you will find the real you behind the story. We are all that happiness we desire. We already are. When you were 1 year old, you had no story. You just had a happy, open expanse of love and life. You were just a being. You weren't being something. You were just being. And that being is with us to the day we die. Those moments you go for a walk and you come out on a vista or on the ocean or something, and you have a moment where you're just standing there in awe, just open, just taking it in. No thought, no past, no future. You're just right there. That's the 1 year old baby. That's the 99-year-old on their deathbed that suddenly have this letting go of everything. It is always there. That's what's behind the story, the real you. And the story hates it when you get quiet because it knows you might find that. You might find the peace and happiness right here, right now, instantly. And the story begins to die. Because in that peace and happiness, you cannot be held by fear, insecurity, trauma, anxiety. Those things have no power when you're actually conscious and alive as you are, a beautiful, peaceful, loving creature. We're always that person. The blue sky and sunshine is who Martha Rice is. But when she looks at the clouds, she looks at the current, the stream, the clashing and collisions and crashing of life all around her, all she can see is the weather. And that's who she thinks she is, living in that world of that storm. But behind it is always Martha's blue sky and sunshine. It's always there waiting for her. She just has to drop the story. We don't need a story. I don't dabble in my memory anymore. Ever. I don't go backward. What for? People go, but your history, that's who you are. You can't live without a history. Of course you can. You live every day without history. You're here. You're not 50 years ago. That's a story. Bring yourself to the present. There is no story. You're not captured. You're free. No matter what's happening in your life, there isn't a problem. There are no problems in the world. There are situations. You can deal with them or not deal with them. That's a choice. It's not a problem. It's not something to worry about or fret over or be upset about. They don't exist. They have to be created in your imagination, in your past or future. They can't happen right now because they don't exist. You and I speaking, loving, caring, sharing with one another is all there is. That's what's happening. That is life at this moment. Nothing else exists. It's not hard. Yes, the baggage is big. But you literally have to bring your awareness to a place. This is what I did, no different than garbage bags. Emotional baggage, I needed to handle them. What do I do with my garbage? Tie up the bag, walk out to the curb, put it down, walk away. Walk away. You can just walk away from your history, your pain, your worth. Yes. Yes, you can. There's no rule here. You make the rules.
That's true.
We all want to be happy and loving and peaceful. Do it now. Why wait?
You
Everything
are
about
speaking
waiting
my
for
language.
it is an excuse.
You are speaking my language. You sucked me into your story. No, I was quiet because you speaking my language. I mean, I totally, I was just in awe of how you broke that down. And limiting beliefs will hold you back from anything that you purpose to do. So in your practice, what is your onboarding process for your clients, and what do you normally see clients about
Their story.
About their story?
When I came out of my year of life collapse, I, of course, had to rebuild my life physically and mentally. I had to work on my diet. I had to exercise, regain my strength, just to be able to live normally, And then it naturally progressed into, because I'm making such gains at the gym, people start noticing, like, oh, this guy's doing something right. They would start to ask questions. And so I naturally worked into helping people work out, helping with their diet, coaching. And then it always came to the same roadblock with every person. Always came back to their baggage, their emotional baggage that got in the way. Their limiting beliefs, their lack of confidence, their thought of being insecurity in their life. All these issues kept coming up, and I realized it's this story. This has kept coming to my mind that we're believing something that isn't real. Why are we inventing this thing? And then I had to go through this whole process of looking at myself and realizing I was believing in this story. So it naturally took me there. So now when I talk to people, it's this process, the podcast. Sit down with someone and have a conversation. I meet Martha at a cocktail party, and we're introduced. And I say, nice to meet you, Martha. Tell me a little about yourself. And you start telling me your story. This is what we do.
Right. That's exactly what we do.
Yeah. And so we start at the surface level. I'm a mom. I'm a teacher. I'm a sister. I'm a brother. I'm a mother, father. The sort of surface of the social level. My social groupings. And then my hobbies, my interests. We go slowly in under the surface. And if I get to know Martha long enough, we get more secure with each other and trusting each other, Martha will begin to tell me deeper feelings.
Yes.
The story becomes larger. The story becomes more historic. The story starts to tip negatively. We are negatively bound beings far more than positive.
Yes.
And even when we think 9 positive things against 1 negative one, the 1 negative one can outweigh all 9 of the positive.
That is so true.
So it's the same onboarding. It's just this conversation that leads people naturally. And all I'm learning to do is guide them to find their story.
Yes.
And then I challenge them with, show me the truth. Show me the truth. Prove your story to me. No one can. No one can prove it. No one can give you real evidence past believing the memory. It's just a belief. You had beliefs 10 years ago that you don't have today.
So true.
You will have beliefs in 10 years from now that you don't have today. So what is a belief? It's this malleable thing that changes. So why would we have to believe in this story, in this memory? There's no reason. And everyone can slowly, they start to open their eyes and they start to understand, I'm taking this much abuse from myself, from the thing I think is myself. And I'm coming to this place now, you know how today the mantra is believe in yourself, be strong,
Yes.
power through, grit, determination, discipline. You can do it, believe in yourself. I say, no, don't believe in yourself when yourself is your story that harms you.
That's powerful.
Life improvement, self-improvement industry, $100 billion this year. And what is it doing? It's trying to get people to believe in themselves. It doesn't even see the self. It's trying to put something on top. Determination, strength, grit. Pour it on top of yourself. Change yourself. Make a new you. Imagine a new, powerful, successful you. But you're doing nothing about the story you're putting it on top of.
Right.
And so people are in the middle of, I can do it, I can do it. And in the back of their head is a little voice going, yeah, you can't do
Right.
it. You're a loser. You're not going to get it done. You're going to give up tomorrow. It's too hard. And on top, you're going, I'm strong. I can do it. We're missing the show here.
Yes.
We think everything is forward. The goal in front of me, the achievement in front of me. I'm going to get the car. I'm going to get the girl. I'm going to get the house. I'm going to get the job. And this is achievement is going to fix the story. And it can't.
Can't.
You can't build a new house on top of the same foundation and expect it to be different. And that's what we do.
That
That's
so
all
true.
we're doing. Because we're not saying the story's fake. The house keeps falling down because the story is fake. It's not even a foundation. And so 90% of people who set goals fail in reaching their goal. 50 years ago, it was the same statistic. And we've had 250 million books on how to succeed and tens of billions of dollars on personal development and gurus telling you how to be successful. Nothing's changed. Why? Because the story is there. We haven't looked at the story. We haven't understood that it's fake. We think it's who we are. And so it's in the way of everything we can be. And no amount of raw, I can do it is going to change the story. And the reason is simple. You can't change a story from within the story because you are the story. The only answer for trauma, for every problem, is to understand you can't heal. You cannot heal because you're in the story. It's a part of you. It's impossible to heal that. You can only leave that. I have a car. I've had it for 20 years. I love my car. I have a history with my car. I have memories with my car. Places we've been, things we've done. People name their car. It's like their friend. And then the car starts to break down, starts to have problems. I keep taking it to the doctor, the auto mechanic. I keep getting a new medication so it can be healed and keep going. A new part. It gets healed. I keep driving. But now I'm worried about my car. It's causing me anxiety and trouble and pain. It might not be there. I might lose my car. The pain. In the end, what do? I come to terms with my car and say, bye. I'm leaving you at the side of the road and I'm going on. And that's what we have to do with our story in the end. We can't heal it. We leave it.
We leave it. Because it no longer serves us.
Say goodbye. You do not serve me. And so I leave. I don't heal the inner child. I said to my inner child, I've learned what I can learn. I no longer need you. I'm leaving. That's all. I didn't heal. I didn't heal my addiction to alcohol and cocaine. I stopped because I no longer needed it. It no longer was doing anything for me because what it was used for no longer existed. My story, my pain was gone. So I no longer needed a medication. It is that simple. You don't heal it, you leave it. You go to your real life. You go to the blue sky and sunshine. You go to the love and happiness because it's always been there for you. It doesn't take effort. You don't have to try to be happy. You just are. It is your natural state. You've just covered it up with a story. It's always been there. Take the blankets off and, oh my God, there's the bed. It's always been there under the blankets. Relax and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember when I was back a while ago, when I was first got out of grad school, I was so intimidated going into the world. Now I have to, perform my degree, right? And
right.
That was the story I told myself. Oh, yeah. I had to know everything. That was the story I told myself. And It put so much pressure on me, but it was just a story. It was a distorted view of what the expectation I put on myself that didn't even exist. So so I had to change my narrative.
Yeah.
And because it didn't serve me. And so I changed my narrative and understood that I don't have to know everything. I'm great just the way I am. I'm gonna continue to learn, and I'm gonna continue to grow, and I get to help other people as I grow. I had to change my narrative, and because that story wasn't serving me.
Yeah, I would say to people that everyone already knows. Everyone has everything they need already.
Right, exactly.
We are trying. It's not self-improvement you need, adding something. I say it's self-removement you need. Take all this stuff away. You're fine.
Just the way you
only
are.
Put things on yourself that have restricted you and limited you and scared you and made you insecure. They're not real. Take them off. Remove the problem. You don't add something to fix the problem. You just remove the problem.
That's true. Because you're right, you mask it.
We're a culture of wanting and desiring, of the horse with the carrot out in front of it, always chasing it. But we never go anywhere. We get stuck in this endless loop of thinking, if I get, when I get, when I have, when I've got enough information, when I'm strong enough, when I'm ready. There is no when. It's only now. And you're already there. You have it. You already have the confidence, the knowledge. Everything is in you. You just have to release all these fences that are holding you in this story. Let go of it,
Yes.
and you're going to be fine.
Yes. And you're right, your ego can get in the way because it's trying to protect you, but you really don't need that.
And it's protecting you in a real deceptive way.
Yes.
Because it is your story.
It's saying danger, danger, and you're not in danger.
It's saying stay here in your story. Stay in
Stay
your
safe.
lane. Be who your history says you are. Don't try and get out of that box. It's afraid of that. It's afraid of your independence,
Yes.
your clarity, your freedom. It's afraid of it. It wants to control you. That's what your story does.
Yes.
Your belief in it.
So how did you get past, or you said you ended up with cancer? How was that going, and how did you deal with it?
Well, I say now that because I had those sort of 6 crises happen all at once in 1 year, I don't think you could be luckier than to have that happen, because there was no time to deal with it as an individual crisis. You had to go, holy crap.
Right.
I've got 2 choices. I either kill myself, which I took very seriously at the time, because I want out. Too much. I'm out. I'm finished. Or all of this is telling me there's a different path. And that's what it did for me. It said, look over there, a door just cracked open. And there's light shining out of that door. Well, what is that about? A friend of mine looked at me when I was at my lowest point, weak, broken, absolutely no confidence. And he looked at me and said, what are you talking about? Weak? Are you crazy? So in 1 year, you get cancer, lose your wife, your house, your business, your family, you're alcoholic, you're suicidal. You think you're weak? You're strong as hell. That didn't kill you.
Wow.
And I thought, well, yeah, maybe that I could look at it that way. I'm actually strong, not weak. Never occurred to me. I thought I was broken. Maybe this was supposed to be there. Maybe this is my path. Maybe there's a reason. And that brings in this woo-woo side that is hard for a lot of people to even look at, which is there something bigger? And for me, the bigger is that blue sky. It is that sunshine. It is the real you that you've been avoiding through this story. And so the path told me the path was fake. And this crisis was to take me by the neck and say, wake up.
Right.
That's all it was.
It didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Dramatic in my event, but almost everyone gets wake-up calls.
Yes.
Some people get multiple wake-up calls and they push them away. Oh, it's nothing. A big opportunity comes and, I'm a little bit scared, or imposter syndrome, I can't. And they push them out. Opportunities are often wake-up calls. Well, for me, I look at this now, it was an opportunity. That's all it was. I was being shaken. Wake up. This is your opportunity. Look behind you. There's a big blue sky and sunshine. You get to live in that every day if you want to. All you have to do is make the choice.
Yep.
Walk away from all this and have all that. What do you want to do, kid? It was obvious.
The power of choice.
And it's always there. We just get so weighted to one side by that story. We are so anchored to it. We think it's who we are, it's our security. Even when it's painful, we feel secure because it's the devil we know. We can deal with it. I got through today, I'll get through tomorrow. So we keep on course. And yet it's killing us.
Right.
Or it's having us waste our life. And people go to their deathbed carrying that baggage and pain and suffering.
And it's not even worth it.
No, it's giving you nothing.
Nothing.
You have gained nothing from it. Zero. No one can show me a benefit from this thing. They will have highlights. They'll have highlights and they'll say, but I've learned lots in my life. And I'll say, yeah, but knowledge, as in skills, wisdom, understanding, that's your toolbox mind. And of course, those are things you use to live every day. That's normal. The emotional baggage of the story mind is not a skill. It's not a tool. It's not a wisdom. It's nothing like that. It is this self-identified self that says, I am these problems and things that happen to me. They are the excuses why I'm having trouble moving forward or understanding or behaving or not getting angry. All these things. They are the reason I'm worried about tomorrow and what might go wrong. Instead of knowing right now is great. That's the baggage.
Yes.
Not the good things, not the skills and wisdom and understanding. That's all the good stuff we use as tools. Of course that's there. But that's not what we're talking about here. The story mind is not that. The self-identification is the problem we're dealing with. Who we
identify
are.
Ourselves as.
Yeah. Who we believe we are. The self. That isn't. It's not who you are, it's what you are. Who you are is this story. What you are is that blue sky, sunshine, peace, and love and happiness. That's what you are.
Yes.
That's what you have always been. Who you are is a story you believe. Get rid of who you are. You don't have to be a who.
You could be a what?
Be what you are. Be the love. Be
I
the
like
peace.
that.
Just be what you are.
So tell us about these amazing books that you wrote.
Well, I don't know if I'd call them amazing. They're attempts to convey my journey. You know, the first one right there is Cancer Combat, because it came out of cancer. And, you know, that was my first big hurdle to get over. Even after all the other, you know, the marriage and everything, the first hurdle was getting my health from cancer. Cancer had robbed me of that. So that book was trying to understand cancer, how we look at it, how we talk about it. And that led me right away to, well, how do I get better? And this is called the STEP system, the second book. I had to break my life down into the smallest possible pieces and take the smallest possible steps to get back. You know, so my first step was every morning when I wake up, I have to go for a 30-minute walk. That was it. That's my goal. It's all there is, nothing else. So that was my step.
Okay.
Then I added another step. I need to eat a little better, a little cleaner, a little less junk. No more soda pop and chips. Take another step. Small bites, little steps until I got stronger and stronger, which led me to live long for the Fit 5 life. It made me start to look at each area and say, well, I need to be physically fit. I need to be food fit, my diet. I need to be mentally fit, clear in my head. I need to be socially fit. Respond to friends and family. Be a part of that loving community.
Yes.
And I need to be sleep fit. I need to get good rest. And I want to say right now, because so many people have problems sleeping, and there's books written every day and podcasts galore, techniques and, you know, pillows and mattresses and temperature of the room and darkness and, you know, sleeping rituals and routines to get yourself ready for bed and all these things. And they can all help. But that's not the problem with sleep, I don't think. I think it's what's in your head you take to your bed.
Yes.
And so if you've got this horrible story beating you up, you lie down at night, and the first thing it does is come vastly alive. It goes into technicolor in your head. Every little problem starts racing around, and you're lying there with your eyes bugging out going, I just want to sleep.
Right.
And you try to fight it and go, let me sleep.
And the more you fight it, it wakes you up just that much more, because your energy, you have to use energy to fight it.
Yeah, so I didn't sleep for 25 years. I never had one real full night's sleep. I swear to you, in 25 years.
Wow.
Never. Back pain, racing mind, just terrible. I hated sleep. I hated nighttime because I knew when I laid down, it was going to be horrible. I knew it, and it was for 25 years.
Because
as soon
you had
as
to
I
face
walked
the
away from
story.
my story, as soon as I left my StoryMind, I sleep every night, right through. I don't dream anymore. I just sleep, boom, gone like I'm dead. And I wake up in the morning like, I can't even, I don't even know how to articulate how I love sleep. Because
Wow.
it's so dead and great, and I wake up just ready, full of energy to go. And so that's a huge one. What you take to your head, you take to your bed.
I like that.
And
That's so
the
true.
work we have to do is fixing the head. The head is leading us around this imagination machine, this belief in the story.
Yes, it
It
is.
always comes back to the same place. So when I mentioned working with people in the gym and always coming up to the same roadblock, the story, that led to my latest book, which is The Gift is the Present. And the gift is today. I found the realization through AA, one day at a time. It's one of their big mantras, right? Just do it today. Just get through this one day.
One day.
Well, I took my life and said, what is a day? It's 24 hours. If I sleep 8 hours, I have 16 hours to have. That's my day. That's my day to do what I'm going to do. But I realized it's more than that. It's the only day you'll ever have. There is no future. There is no past. It will only ever be this day. 16 hours is all you'll ever have to live your life. So in 16 hours, can I go for a walk and do something for my body? Yeah, I can probably do that in amongst 16 hours. Can I eat a little better in that 16 hours? Yeah, I can probably eat a little better. Can I call a loved one and tell them I love them? Support someone? Be there for someone? Yeah, I can probably do that. Everything that makes your life happens in this day. It'll always only happen in this day. And tomorrow, you get a redo, a go-over, a do-over, a freebie. You get to do it again. What a gift to have
That
this
is a
one
gift. That's
day.
a gift.
One day. That's all you have to do. You only have to stay away from those horrible thoughts for one day. You only have to stop worrying about tomorrow for one day. Everything. You only have to do it for 16 hours, one day. You're telling me you can't keep your anger under control for one day? You're telling me you can't stop worrying about everything for one day? You're telling me you can't be happy for one day? You can't find the appreciation of this life, this world around you, your children, your home, whatever it is, for one day? That's all we have to do. Every day is one day. And if you can mentally put yourself there, there is no past. There is no future. You're here. This is it. What's wrong? Nothing. It's this one day. This is it.
Stay in the present.
Yeah. Where other place is there? You don't go to the past when you remember the past. You bring it to
The
now.
present. Yes.
Right
here.
here.
Yep, you do.
You
You're right.
experience it now. And the way you experience it is you have to reimagine it. And in that reimagining, we tend to inflate and exaggerate and build the story stronger. And that's why we keep the memory alive. So that's why I say I don't indulge in my memory anymore. What for? It serves no purpose. I'm here. Everything I've got to do is right here, right now. It's not back there. I can't change the past, so why bring it here? Why live in it now? What's it going to do for me?
Yeah, if it's not serving you, what's the point?
Yeah, what is the point? Yeah.
Right.
What are we waiting for?
Right. Stay in. That's one of the things that we tell our clients: stay in the present.
Yeah.
because the present is where you at right now. And sometimes when you with those distorted views, because that's what I call them, distorted views, you really are not in the present. You are in the past, and
That's right.
you're pulling old information into a new area in an era in your life. You're not even that same age. The weather is not even the same. Your thoughts are your level of maturity is different. Everything is different about that. But for some reason, we go back, and I think we go back thinking it's a resource, but it's really not. And I think in the context, you can go back and look at information that you want to pull to be helpful, but not your story.
Yeah, that's the toolbox mind,
Right,
as opposed to the story mind.
right. You
The
go get your
toolbox mind we
resources
use
and
every
the
day. That's
tools
how
that
we
you need in
function.
your box, right? You go get
Yeah.
that, but you get rid of the distorted view of your story that's no longer serving you.
Yeah, the attached identification of who you think you are
Right.
is the problem. You are who you are right now, not then.
Right.
Be you now.
Right. And sometimes I like when my husband say, when I used to be so confused about who I was, he say, one day you gonna be introduced to yourself.
Exactly.
And he was so right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's a different feeling, because you live so much better when you understand who you are, because you see all of these possibilities and capabilities, and you can move in. You get to choose what you want to do versus allowing something to weigh you down.
Yep. I was saying this morning to someone that it's so funny that if I stand up and say I have trauma, regret from the past, I carry pain and suffering with me, I'm anxious about tomorrow, I'm worried about what might happen, I'm struggling with my mental health, experts, medical people, and the public alive will say, we're with you. We accept that. We know this is true. Life is hard. It's a reality. But if I stood up and I said, I have no trauma, I have no fear, I have no insecurity, I have no trouble in my life, I have no problems in my life. My life is peaceful, happy, loving, beautiful feelings. Every day I am happy. I have nothing wrong. Every expert and every person will say I'm delusional. I'm not living in reality. I will be seen as in some sort of disorder. Think about the sanity of a culture who says you are real when you are disordered mentally. You are unreal if you are happy mentally. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, you're not relatable.
We live inside of that. That my mental illness is celebrated. Do you remember about a decade ago or so, there was a woman on the American women's gymnastics team. She was best in the world. And around the time of the Olympics, she came out with her struggles with mental health. It was big news. And right away, it was a Me Too movement of mental health. Millions of people started coming out and saying, me too, I'm struggling, like it was to be celebrated. An honor was bestowed upon you for your bravery of saying you're not doing well. But if someone came out and said they're perfect, they're fine, they're happy, imagine that's not the same celebration. We are so in a sick mind of the story mind that it's okay to be sick, and we want to help you and heal you, which are beautiful human thoughts, but they're vastly misplaced. They're not seeing any reality. They're all inside that story. Because what you are, the happiness and love that you are, is the real you. That is what we should be celebrating every day and telling people they're beautiful, they're lovely, they're happy. If we said these things to each other every single day, and that was the narrative on social media, what do you think the culture would be like? We create this stuff because we replay it in social media, on the news, in every environment replays this story of pain and hurt and trouble and crisis every day. And yet, so what?
That's because,
Tomorrow
like you
morning,
said,
you wake up and the sun rises and you're alive and you live.
Yes, that's that's why gratitude is so important. And it's interesting because it's so interesting because it's like that because we gravitate toward negativity. But we could say somebody could say 10 positive things, but one negative comment, I tilt over and I'm out of control.
Yeah.
And I forget who I am.
Yeah.
In that moment, because I take that negative comment and make a whole narrative around it.
And that's your individual story mind is also connected to a cultural story mind, to almost a universal story mind that we all believe is normal. Struggling with your mental health is just a normal thing you have to work on and deal with. All these things that are the negatives we think are normal because we're all in the same kind of story mind. We all have similar beliefs, similar worries, similar concerns. We are all very much alike. And that's why I started with the agreement of we are so much alike, we all have the same destination, the love, the happiness, the peace of mind. We are the same person. Each one of us is each other. You are my sister. I am your brother. We are together, but we're confused by the story that we believe is the truth. It's not the truth. We lie to ourselves. We deceive ourselves.
Yeah, so, well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that because people need to hear how our narratives, how we live upon those things and how we can change the narrative in our lives and how we can, remove the limited beliefs and see who we really are. That's why I love this show because people can gather information about what they can do in the moment to get the help they need because sometimes we don't know what to do. Sometimes we don't even know we are telling ourselves those stories.
That's right.
And because we so in our day to day, we don't quite see what's happening before us. So thank you so much for sharing that. And in the comment section, in the description, you will see how to reach Dallas if you want to talk to him more about the story, breaking free from the story mind. You definitely can reach out to him and he will walk you through that, which is amazing. And I'm so glad that you that you came out of that story that you were telling yourself so you could be a better person, so you could show up better for the world, which is amazing. That's what we all want to do. We want to show up better for the world. So
and it's not special. Everyone can do it. Everyone has the power. And no one is special in this. We all can do everything.
Yes. And so I just want to tell the audience, thank you so much for listening. If you feel this has been helpful, please continue to continue to listen to the podcast Cast in the Net, and always know that we care about your mental and physical health. We care about you as a person, and we want you to know you can always reach out to be better every day. And gratitude is so amazing when you utilize it the right way. So just want to say thank you for listening. We are signing off.
It's your time to shine. Journey to chart. Coach Rice wisdom will heal every heart. So join us now. Let's make life Coach Rice.